Hello everyone. So today I decided to do vampires, and I think it turned out very well. So if you'd like to know how I did it, keep watching. So I'm on Unsplash and I find this awesome picture of a woman taking a picture with a camera. Then I start looking for the other woman I want to have in the picture, the vampire. And I find this very elegant woman. So with both women selected, I begin the process of merging them. So I've positioned her inside the center and done select subject, and that means that I can copy her and paste her into her own layer, and then go to edit and do a content aware fill, and that gives me my nice red background again. Then I start doing the same thing to the other woman and remove her arm and get her into position. After that I start thinking about the fact that I want it to be gothic, so I look for a background on Unsplash as well. And I sort of went for a gothic church. I really just wanted it as a background, nothing complicated. So after selecting this, I changed it to subtract, and it gave me this really cool effect. So I decided to use that as the basis for the whole picture. So after doing that, I color matched them by going to Image Adjustments, Color Match, and I pick the layer I want to work on, and then play around with making the characters match the background. So everybody's consistent. That's what I'm working for, really, or looking for, should I say. So at this point I begin painting, and I start using the colour sample of the white of the eye and start blending that out, just to create a feel of what I'm going for. So I've sort of decided that the camera woman has just realised what sort of a mess she's in. But at this point I do realise I need a third character. So I go on to Envato Elements, and I'm trying to get somebody who's looking directly at the viewer, and I want them to be cross or angry, just basically with their mouth open. I was having a bit of problem actually. I don't know if it's to do with how I phrase it or what, but anyway, I did manage to find a woman, but I just felt like she was a bit boring, but at least she just kind of had the look that I needed. So I wiped her eyes and started sort of thinking about how can I make her more interesting. So using just samples from her leather jacket, started to just sort of build a costume. So it's quite fun if you try this, just getting like a sample of their skin color and then playing around. So doing the woman's hand, it was very basic because the plan is to make it very, very dark and very gothic. So I'm just trying to sort of get a feel for these characters and turn them into something a little bit more. So yeah, I thought the feathered collars might be quite good. I liked the pink hair. So I was taking samples from that and using the brush to just come up with different hairstyles. So I was doing the hairstyles on a different layer, you know, just to make sure that I didn't damage anything that I wanted to keep. And obviously positioning them, getting everything right. Then doing the mouth. This was interesting. I was playing around with the idea of doing a sort of like hideous vampire, which, looking at the way that I was doing a mouth, she does get very hideous. Eventually, as you can tell probably from the first image, she does not look like this in the end. But it's quite fun to watch me play around with it and try and come up with different ideas about how I want these vampires to eventually look. I suppose they're a little bit like Fright Night. But anyway, I did decide that it really wasn't working. I liked the eyes. The eyes were fine. But I was just playing around really. I really wanted to like just figure it out. So here's me rectifying the mouth and just sort of thinking about what I can do. I had to readjust the face, get all the shadows underneath the chin. If you have a look at my layer menu, I duplicated the safe picture and I had that as a backup just in case this went, completely wrong. And it just allowed me to relax a bit and to experiment a bit and just sort of think about what was going on and how to kind of improve on what I'd done. So it doesn't matter that it's all nice and bright at the minute. That's irrelevant. The idea is that I will make it very dark. But I just wanted the characters to look believable. And then they would be able to carry the picture later on. And here we are, nice and dark. So it sort of diminishes some of the effort that I went to, but that's on purpose. It's like, it's not really important. The importance is to sort of have it a bit, I believe the word's ethereal. Correct me in the comments below if I'm completely wrong about the uses of that word. But yeah, I had to extend the canvas, which wasn't very difficult. Again, you just take the sample colour from nearby and just paint it out. And I decided to sort of use my blender brush to smooth out some of the hair that I'd made. And this is helping immensely because it just creates a very oil painted look, which is perfect. It's what I wanted. Then I just did a red solid colour overlay and just tried to sort of figure out that. I just wanted to get a consistent colour throughout the entire image, so red, and that was just perfect. Vampires, red, blood, all the rest of it. So I really wanted to sort of think, what is this girl looking at? Does she know she's got these things behind her? Is that going to be news to her when she turns around? So that's kind of like the story that's going on in this picture. And it was sort of like an accidental gift, really. The way I'd done the background, if you remember, was a church, but just playing around with it and blurring it out and messing around like that, I managed to make it look more like she's sort of gone down into a cavern and these creatures have sort of spotted a way out. And I just started thinking that way. I started thinking, this girl's like gone down a well or something like that, and perhaps she's like a photography student, from university or something like that, and just wanted to take some cool pictures. So yeah, great fun messing around with this. And you can tell that it gets darker and darker, and I'm thinking about the shadow on the face and how that sits. And as you can see, whenever you look at my layer side, whenever I'm not sure about the direction I'm going to go in, I'll just make either duplicate the image, which is Alt Control Shift E for anybody who doesn't know, or you can just right click on the layer and just say duplicate. But I will do that a lot just to kind of allow myself to loosen up and practice something and see if it'll work. So here I'm just practicing just sort of putting things in the mouth, and definitely wound up landing on a very sort of cliched, I guess, the blood dripping down the chin. And finally it was nice just sort of messing around with dust and smoke. Yeah, so these are my vampires. Photo manipulation and painting. I absolutely love doing this. And here's the finished article. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I also write horror and sci-fi books, so look me up on Amazon under Richard Coyley. Bye.